Hey guys, Nick Smith here, and today I'm going to show you a quick way to make a high contrast, punchy black and white photo. Now, the reason I wanted to cover this today is I recently posted an image to my Instagram that was in black and white, and everyone seemed to really like that high contrast look, and I was getting some questions about it, so I figured I'd throw together a video real fast on exactly how I did it. This way everyone can see exactly how it's done and know how to use these techniques to apply it to their own images and see how it works, because I think it's a really cool look. I just don't use it that often because I'm known mostly for my color shots. So the first thing we want to do is open up the adjustments panel down here, and then we're going to select black and white. And now all these sliders will pop up, and what this is it takes the color information from your photo and then allows you to adjust the lightness and darkness of each color independently. So we're just going to go ahead and grab one of these and just kind of toggle it back and forth and see how it affects the image. And if we turn it all the way down, it goes really weird. I mean, if you want to go for like an artistic, like weird, cool effect, you could totally do that. But I mean, it doesn't exactly look flattering now. So we can sit here and kind of play with it and lighten things up where we want it lighter. And play with this. I want it a little darker in the background. And move on to the next one. There's not a lot of greens in this photo, apparently. So I'm just going to leave that about where I found it. Not a lot of cyans, except if you look, it's affecting the highlight in her hair. So right up in here, it's affecting that. So if we want to like put a little extra shine to it, we can turn that up a bit. If we want to like dull it or flatten it out, I think a little shine would look good. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of pump that up a little bit. And blues. Same area, it's kind of affecting the highlights in the hair. A little in the background as well. If you look down in here and in the shirt, it's also affecting that. So let's go ahead and pump that up just a little bit to get a little bit more highlight in it. Alright, that's looking good. And then we're going to go ahead and play with the magentas. If you look, it's affecting mostly the lip color, a little bit in the background, and some of the skin as well. I think about 70 looks good. And I mean, there's also the auto right here that you can use. I'm not going to hit it now because it'll change all the settings I dialed in manually. Usually I would recommend actually taking the time to sit and adjust this yourself, like little bit by bit. So here comes the fun part. And that is we're going to open up the adjustments panel again, select curves, and then we're going to grab down here and we're going to drag this down to add a little more blacks to the dark areas. And I'm going to drag it up a bunch to add lights. Now I think this is too far down, so I'm going to actually bring it up just a little bit here. Turn that down. Move that up. And actually, let's go ahead and put a little more contrast here. And we toggle that on and off. That's the difference that curves layer made. So here we have this really kind of flat black and white. And by using those curves, we're able to just increase the overall contrast and punchiness of it and really make it like in your face, old like film noir style black and white. So another option you could do is you could go down here and go to contrast. And this is not going to be as easy. It's going to be easier than curves, I should say. It's not going to be as hard as curves. It's going to be much easier, but you're not going to have as great of results and control as you do in curves because it just controls everything at the same time. So if we just grab this and turn it up to, say, I think 40 is where I'd leave it for this. If we go any higher than that, it starts to get like too dark on certain areas, like under the eyelids and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too dark there. So I'd say about 40. So now I'm going to actually make another separate adjustment to show you another way we can do this. And that's in levels. And now what we can do in levels is we can actually just take this black point here and drag it up to about 10. I'll actually just dial it in because I want it to be even. And we take this white point and drag it down. 216 looks pretty good. So that's another way to get that kind of high contrast look. And the other way we can do it is through exposure and apply image. So let's turn it down to about -40. Now this way is a little different than what I'd normally do, but I wanted to show it because it is possible. So we're going to apply the image, keep it inverted, keep it like that. And we'll open up another exposure. I'll put this one with +40 instead of minus. And then we'll apply the image to non-invert. And then let's group these together. That's just another way we can kind of make those highlights pop and stuff like that. And all of these give different effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start creating some snapshots so you can actually see the different options we've created here. So I'm going to go ahead and go into history here and then add a new snapshot. So let me check my layers. Okay, so this is just plain black and white. Now if we scroll all the way up, ooh, accidentally undid everything. Don't do that. If we scroll all the way up, we can see I created a snapshot here. And what this does is it allows us to kind of toggle back and forth once we create all these different snapshots and see which one we like best. So now this is going to be the black and white with the curve. So I'm going to go here to snapshot. I'm going to do this. And a black and white contrast. So we're making all these different layers. And this is really cool if you are torn between two different kinds of editing, or 3 or more or whatever. We're going to do 4 here, but if you're torn ever about what edits you want to do, this is a great way to kind of toggle back and forth and see which one you like better, is just by making these snapshots and just actually flipping back and forth through them and comparing. So now we're going to do the levels one. And create that new snapshot. And finally, we're going to use the apply image exposure. All right, so now that we have all these snapshots made, we can toggle back and forth between them really easily. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and turn all these off. Select that. Let's zoom out. Oh, that was actually the original unedited that I just brought up. So I'm going to actually toggle this off and make a new that is color. So back to where we were. Here's color. Here's black and white. Here's black and white with curves. Here's black and white with contrast. And now switching back and forth, this is seeming a little less. So let's actually go just plain black and white, then black and white curves, and back to regular black and white. Now that's a difference contrast made. Regular, that's with levels, and then that's with the apply image. Now I think my favorites are curves and levels. So if we want to compare those two, we can just go to curves, and then we can go to levels and just switch back and forth. Overall, I like curves, and that's why I showed it to you first. It's my favorite method, and I think this is probably the best suiting for the image. And that's it for today's video. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already, so it's easier for other people to find my videos and learn from me as well. Feel free to share this on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, any social media you see fit. As long as my work is being shared and people are learning, I'm happy. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.